Morning, Brandon Hardison for Champion Strategies on our ongoing series about public speaking. Once again, we're just doing this to give back some information. Maybe you are challenged and don't have the money right now, but there are many institutions that are great that you can use, but they will charge a fee. There's other videos that you can watch to give you some insight if you like to read, if you like to look at audio tapes, if you like to do all those things. Hey, public speaking is a great career. It's just that maybe you came in before the virus hit and you saw thousands of people sitting at a convention, and that's what you wanted to do. Still hold on to that dream. We will be coming back. Right now, we're just confined to this box. Also, like I always will say, congratulations to those new leaders, those new managers, those new supervisors, those new directors. In other words, if you're in charge of leading people, once again, front of the room is going to be a little bit different for you because you would be holding meetings on a timely basis. Depends on the frequency, but remember, they're looking to you. And the love of my heart. Teachers. To teach our babies is a beautiful thing, but once again, you're restricted to this box now. Good to hear that some public institutions are talking about opening up again. So you'll be in front of the room. They need to know who you are. So you always hear me talk about comfortable, being confident. All of this comes from practice. So no matter what, practice, 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 practice. So, quickly today, what we want to touch on in our series of speaking, because if you are a speaker, people will look you up or ask you things. Can you do this for me? Now, depending on how you brand yourself, whether it's a freebie to get out there so people know who you are, or if you're getting paid for doing something, please know that people will come after you. So make sure that your social sites, if you have a website, or however you're reaching out to let people know that you're there. Just be careful, and I'm just giving you different examples because these are some of the things that have happened to me over my career. So, someone comes to you and they want you to speak. You agree, but when you get there, you find out that the audience is very diverse. How are you going to attack this? In other words, giving a speech or a presentation, no matter what the content is, to an audience of people who, for example, speak various languages or have a different cultural background requiring special tact from you, the speakers, so they can understand the message in their way. Now, what would be some examples of that? Wedding reception. You happen to be the MC, and there are certain traditions that the bride's family do that are different than the groom's family. Needs to be explained differently because there's a tradition that you're getting ready to do, and maybe the other side doesn't completely understand. Or how about a family reunion where some family members have not seen other parts of that family branch at all? This is the first time. We need to set it up before we give our speech to understand why, what, where, how, all of these things fall on you. Or it can even be a young person's event. You're up in age, and the speaker, since the audience is a lot younger, but their parents or guardians are there, and you're trying to be culturally hip, using kid-friendly words that you hear them say. We have to be careful how we navigate our way when there's diverse audience. So that's what I just wanted to touch on today. So enunciation is very important. We have to enunciate clearly. If possible, try to speak with a neutral accent. This way, the audience can all understand. I remember when I was getting my master's in radio and TV broadcasting, and the best way to speak, to enunciate, is trying to take all those regions of America out of your voice and just be as plain as you can. This way, the enunciation, the articulation, whether the tonality goes up and down, it's pretty easy for people to understand the English language that you're throwing out. Don't speak too fast. Heart's pouncing, but remember that the normal pace of a speech in one language might become incomprehensible to people relating to that new language. Always slow the speech down. Remember, it takes time for the brain to break some of what you're saying down. If you're moving too fast, it's going to shut this door trying to keep up what your new content is going to be. So nothing wrong with speaking slower. Be careful, watch out for the metaphors. Some metaphors that are appropriate in one culture can be offensive to another culture. Good example, let's go to sports. Not popular or practiced in certain countries, or phrases that are useful, understood in one, you may say something that's offensive to another culture. How do we navigate through all this? Please research, practice. I remember I was doing the 1996 Summer Olympic Games, first time that gold medal sport for women's softball. I made sure I went to each country, not the manager, not the people there to assist them, but I sat with each player and I just wanted to know, how do you want me to say your name? Not what this person tells me, but you're on the field. How, when you get up to bat, how do you want me to say your name? Because it is your name. So you need to do some extra research to be prepared if you want to make sure that your presentation is going to be well. Know the meaning of words outside your native language. You may be doing something, once again, for a different culture class of people, and you want to make sure that the wording is correct. Unless you are absolutely sure of the meaning, the pronunciation of a word that you're going to say, if you're not, I would stay away from it. I would use another way of getting around it, but you don't want to say the one thing. Remember, my job is to do the best that I can to get referrals, to have somebody else give me an opportunity to be in front of the room, not to insult people. In some languages, slight variations of a vowel will completely alter the word altogether. Avoid slangs, jargons, idioms, expressions. When you have a mix of group people, they may not understand the slang and where you're coming from. English phrases that we use, our phrases are different than a lot. That dog don't hunt. Some people look at, I don't know where he's coming from. You're as cool as a cucumber. Now, that may sound colorful, but the meaning could be lost on a large part of the audience. Be mindful all the time of body language, eye contact, personal space, whether I'm going to stay at the podium, whether I'm going to take time and go through the whole stage, or maybe I'm going to intervene amongst the audience. Be mindful of it, but how can you do it? Eye contact, nonverbal, verbal communications, personal space. People will tell you, even from another culture, if they don't even know the whole meaning of what you're saying, but they're looking at your confidence, they're looking at your body language, and when you see them smiling and they see you coming towards them, you can see their face light up. We know that we're doing a good job. They don't completely understand everything, but they like what you're doing. So, once again, what am I talking about? Speaking to a diverse group, a diverse audience. You may find yourself in that situation, so we just want to give you some food for thought just to make sure that you do the best that you can. Once again, Brandon Hradison, President of Champion Strategies, and as always in parting, make it a champion day.